What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about reasons to move to the UK. The video we're gonna watch today actually features a fellow American who ended up moving to the UK, abandoning us because she loved it so much more in the UK. And I'm very curious to hear from her point of view as a fellow American what she thinks are the best reasons to live in the UK over the United States. So I'm actually very, very curious from her experience what she likes more about the UK. Is that even possible? Is life in the UK better than here in the United States? I never imagined, never heard of such a thing. But joking aside, I'm actually going into this with a pretty open mind. I want to have an open mind. And yeah, I'm absolutely open to the idea that the UK does things better, that certain aspects of life can be better in the UK. And I'm curious about that. So let's take a look.
First off, let's talk about the working culture. This is something I've always disliked about America and American
Oh,
culture in general. We just
yeah.
focus our entire lives around work. And
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Man, this is a great one. Oh my gosh. Maybe she's right. Because I immediately am agreeing with this because this is such a big one in the United States. Work culture in the United States. I mean, it used to be try to get a job that you love, so you never work a day in your life if you love your job. And that it's really transformed from that into get a job so you can maybe survive. That's really what it's like, and especially in the United States. I think compared to the rest of the world, we're really a lot more capitalistic. Our companies really don't care that much about the employee, especially if you're working at a really big company. And just the work-life balance in the United States, I mean, is not good. You're definitely taught here to grind, work, hustle, and that can be unhealthy. I'm curious what it's like in the UK by comparison, though.
I want to focus my life on living, enjoying my life, which
Yeah.
a lot of other countries do so well,
Wow.
especially in Europe, but also here in the UK too. So at my current job that I just got, I am a full-time employee, and that means working 35 hours a week, which is so crazy to me. I thought that was a typo on my work contract, but
Wait, what? Hold up. What? Wait, what? Uh, 35 hours a week is full time in the UK? I'm a little confused. Is it do people also work 40 hours a week in the UK? Cuz that's standard here in the United States. Totally standard. That's the norm. You're gonna work 40 hours a week. About 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And working 35 hours, I mean, you wouldn't technically be full time, you wouldn't have access to a lot of benefits, and I just want to know if this is normal in the UK. Is that weird for me to wonder? I can't believe it.
no, it's real. I also get 38 vacation days a year, 33 to use whenever I please, and 5 more because we are closed the week between Christmas and New Year's.
Wait a minute, hold up. This is getting ridiculous. Okay, so the benefits of working in the UK are also just off the charts in compared to the United States, like time off?
But no, it's real. I also
It's
get
real.
38 vacation days a year, 33
38, 30, 38 vacation days. 38 like paid? 38, that's like over a month. Wait, what? That's unbelievable to me, actually. Here in the United States, you're lucky to get I think standard is like 2 weeks paid vacation, and you gotta beg and you gotta beg for those days off. Oh, and you only have a limited number of sick days as well. You better not get sick because you got a limited amount. What?
to use whenever I please, and 5 more because we are closed the week between Christmas and New Year's. And I think any American would agree that that is just insane. Most of my jobs in the US have always been about 5 vacation days per year. So
That's insane. I totally agree. 5 vacation days a year, that's pretty darn bad. I think I've been fortunate enough, like at a lot of jobs, like in a lot of different industries, you're sort of the average, I feel like, is you're going to get about 2 weeks vacation, with some holidays thrown in. 5 days. That's, I mean, the fact that that is possible, like in the United States, is kind of sad because there's really not a lot of laws. There's like no laws based around employee like benefits and rights and stuff. There's not a lot unless you're part of a union or something.
When I read 38 in my contract, I almost had a heart attack. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, they actually genuinely want me to have a good work-life balance. What a concept. Also, just to go along with this, the
I can't believe it. I can't believe that. I feel like here in the United States, I mean, I think we just gotten used to it, how it is here. It's just a mentality of, okay, that's what we're born. Like, we grow up thinking it's normal, and we're just like, oh, that's the way it is. Oh, you barely have any days off, and if you get sick, you might have to use a vacation day to take a sick day off, and that is, I mean, and it kind of shows the relationship between employee and employer often is not a very positive relationship in America, for sure. This would change everything, stuff like this. Wow.
maternity leave is up to 1 full year, which again is just so crazy.
What? Okay. I have learned a little bit about this, but I still cannot believe. A year, is it? A year of maternity leave? Is that right?
So just to go along with this, the maternity leave is up to 1 full year, which again is just so crazy to me considering the US
That's bonkers. I mean, that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Oh, it's just bonkers to think of how crazy. It really puts it into perspective how we have it here in the United States. I mean, everything she said here is absolutely spot on. These are, I mean, this alone is enough of a reason to want to get up and move and live and work in the UK just for this quality of life increase right here. In America, like you're lucky if you get 3 months of maternity leave. 3 months, I think, for most women having children and babies. Like, it's crazy. You have a 3 month old and you got to try to go back to work or something, or you could lose your job, or it's crazy.
US federal law entitles you to 0 days. But anyways, moving on. Another
Yeah, I mean, U.S. law entitles you to, like, a lot of the time, there's nothing in U.S. law that says you have to have a certain amount of vacation or maternity leave, and employers definitely exploit that in the U.S. It shows.
Another huge factor for me and probably anyone
Wow.
considering moving here is its geographical location. Like
Okay.
practically anywhere in Europe is less than a 2 hour flight away, and you can find incredibly cheap flights. Like when I just use Google
I mean, this is a benefit that Americans don't even think about. Don't even think about. There's a lot of stuff we don't think about, I'm realizing, just because it's how it is here in America, and we so rarely get outside or look outside of our bubble, our American bubble. In America, it's so rare for people to travel abroad. A lot of people don't have their passport here. It's very special. It's a special occasion when you get on an airplane and go to another country. And you won't do it many times in your life. And I really have to wrap my head around that that is very different in the UK and Europe. The rest of Europe, everyone can kind of travel to other countries. Everything is kind of close together, kind of like traveling between states here in the United States, which is what we do most of the time. That'd be amazing, thinking about being able to travel to all these different countries in such a short amount of time and distance. It's like the whole world would open up to you. That's how I think of it as an American. It's so different.
Google Flights flexible searching options and just click, anywhere in Europe at any time. I've found round trip flights to Malaga, Spain for £20, Oslo, Norway for £33, Rome, Italy for £38. So if you're just living here full time, just whenever you
What? Wait, this is flying? This is by airplane? By airplane from the UK. you can go to all these countries for like 30 to 50 pounds. This would be like $1,000 for, I think, $800 to $1,000, I think, for an American to fly somewhere in Europe. It's just a totally different world, literally.
Where you find a cheap flight like that, you can easily just pop over there for the weekend. So as someone who absolutely
Pop over to somewhere in Europe for the weekend. Pop over to a different country for the weekend. It's crazy. I can't even wrap my mind around being able to do that.
loves to travel, this is a huge positive for me to be able to see as much of Europe as I can. But also, I've been dying to travel more of the Middle East, and the flights are still, super quick and affordable.
This is probably why it seems like people in the UK and Europe are a lot more worldly, are a lot more aware of the world and other cultures and other ways of living compared to Americans. Geographically, we just don't have the opportunity to experience other cultures for ourselves very much. We can go to Canada, we can go to Mexico, fairly, not even that easily compared to, depending on where you live in the United States, actually. So, yeah, that's probably a big reason why Americans really are further contained in our American bubble. Yeah.
To some of those countries as well, obviously comparing that to the States. Like, I've found flights to Israel for only 80 pounds round trip, and it's only 5 hours away. So it could easily be done in a 4 to 5 day trip, which you obviously could not do from the States. And lastly, because it's such a huge travel hub with, a ton of airport options, it really is easy for friends and family to come visit from the States, which I like. There are several direct flights daily from LA to London. And
Oh, okay. So she's talking about if you live in the UK and you want your family to come out and visit from the United States, there's a lot of flights going back and forth. There's a lot of airports. True, that's true. But it's very expensive. Like you couldn't do that very often.
I found such good deals, so it'll be nice to actually have visitors while we're living here. And to piggyback off the last point, yes, it's so close to so many amazing and beautiful travel destinations, but the UK within itself is a major travel destination. It has way more diversity than I ever knew before moving here, and since it's so well connected by trains and buses, it's relatively easy to see it all, even though I don't have a car.
This is a really, really good video. I'm actually really enjoying this. She's bringing up so many great points. Really, really great points, honestly. Yeah, the idea of being able to travel around the entire country and throughout the UK with public transportation is amazing. And also the UK is a lot smaller than the United States, so you can go see all the different things a lot more easily. And a lot of Americans definitely get trapped in thinking, oh, the UK, what's there? London? No, like that's definitely a fallacy. There's so much more to the UK than just London, which is amazing and not like a bucket list item for a lot of Americans. But a lot of Americans just prioritize London, and that's their trip to the UK. Oh, that's my once-in-a-lifetime trip to the UK. Because we don't make the trip often, if ever, for a lot of people, honestly. And if you live in the UK, you can actually experience all that there is to experience. That's another fantastic reason.
Not only do you have the big cities with beautiful architecture like London, Oxford, Edinburgh, but you also have the countrysides and the Highlands and the Lake District. And something that completely shocked me, tons of beautiful beaches and islands. Like, when you think of...
Oh, beaches. Yeah. I never think about beaches when I think about the UK. I don't know why. It is like just a super large island. And then, what else did she say? Beaches and...
Really shocked me. Tons of beautiful beaches and islands. Like
islands. That's true. Like smaller islands around the UK? That's definitely true. I definitely don't think of those as well. There's a lot of... She mentioned the countryside as well. There's a lot of different less known parts to the UK, at least to Americans, lesser known places that you can really only experience living there. I really believe.
Like, when you think of the UK, you do not think of islands with crystal clear water, but they exist.
Wow.
You have some white cliff with ocean views that are great for hiking.
It's like parts of the UK that are like the Bahamas or something, like a vacation, like cruise ship getaway.
And honestly, the list just goes on and on. And that's something that's really important to me when I'm picking a place to live. Like, I'm from the States. We are a massive country
Yeah.
filled with so much to do and so many beautiful sights to see. And that's how I felt when living in China and Vietnam too. Like, yes, they were great travel hubs for traveling other parts of Asia, but the amount of things to do just within each of these countries is insane. And since
Wow, I mean that's even cool. Like as an American, she is extremely worldly. She's even lived in Asia, and she's still saying, "Hey, out of all these places, the UK is where I want to be." That says a lot.
I'm always itching for a travel adventure. It's perfect for me. I'm so excited to get out and find these beautiful hidden gems all over the UK since there's just so much more to do and see here
Right.
than most people think, myself included. This
Right.
next point is specific to living in London and probably some of the other big cities in the UK, like Birmingham or Edinburgh, but I love not having to drive. And then
Not having the drive, that's a funny one. And so true. I actually think this is one that I certainly never really think about. Most Americans don't think about this because it's so normal here. In the United States, you have to have a car. You have to. Unless you live in New York City or LA or some gigantic city. Then you can try to take public transportation. Everywhere else, you need a car. America is built for having a car, like honestly. And the idea of existing in the UK, in a place where you don't necessarily need a car. Gosh, I've never even thought about it. Like, Americans are terrible at walking places. We don't walk anywhere. I wouldn't walk down the block to go to the convenience store. I would drive. Like, seriously. So maybe this would be a struggle for me.
unless you live in New York or Chicago back in the States, you absolutely have to drive. Like,
Yeah.
I just much prefer walking everywhere and taking public transportation
Okay.
everywhere. I feel like I'm always active and like working out without even really realizing it.
This would be a big adjustment for a lot of Americans. A big adjustment. But at the end of the day, probably a good thing. It is healthier for you. It's better for the environment as well. But man, that would be something we would have to get used to as Americans. I'm very reliant on my car to go anywhere and everywhere. I don't even think about walking places or taking a bus or anything, but it could be cool. It could be like a very cool, yeah, that'd be a big culture shock actually.
Plus, I really feel like I get to know my city more when I'm walking around instead of driving. Like,
Yeah, sure.
You should see my average steps for the month of June being back home in LA. It's very, very sad versus being here the month of August. Like, you
Wow.
can literally see the difference. The stats don't lie.
Wow.
And you feel the difference.
That's like 4 times as much walking. That would literally be good for your health. Like, actually.
Too. Like, it's just so funny because back home I literally live on the same street as a grocery store, but it's like weird to walk there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to
Yes.
describe it, but basically I don't go to the store unless I get a ride.
Yep.
Like, you will not see me walking there, but here
It's weird. It's strange to think that in a lot of places in America, it's weird to see people walking. I'm guilty of this. I'll see people walking and I'll be like, that's a bit strange. Why are they walking? Where's their car? Like, why? I don't know why I care at all. Like, it's good people are walking and taking buses and stuff, but you just don't see it. Isn't that crazy?
I'm like, wow, it's 3 miles away. Like, sweet, let's just walk. It's just a totally different culture, and it's really socially acceptable to just walk everywhere since most people are doing it. I'm
Yeah.
sure there are more things. Like, as soon as I'm done recording this or I post it, I'm going to think of more. But those are really like the main reasons why I moved to the UK and why I'm so happy to be here. The working culture, the travel opportunities,
Yeah.
both inside the UK and all around, Europe, Middle East, and like, close regions, and not having to drive everywhere or own a car.
Wow. This was a very eye-opening video. Seriously. I thought it was going to be entertaining, but she actually had really, really, really valid points. Like, really, about why someone would seriously consider leaving the United States and living in the UK. There's actually, these are not small, like, small little categories, small topics. These are substantial reasons. This was by She Run the World. And I gotta give this video a like, because that was extremely fun to hear about her perspective, and I could connect with what she was saying as an American. So seeing her perspective, an American who left the US, lives in the UK, and all of her blasphemous defector ideology of why she likes the UK. Oh, I can't believe it. But seriously, I can believe it. She had a lot of really, really good points, especially the work situation. That is literally something that affects your day-to-day life, your work, and how much time you have off, your work-life balance, your mental health, your maternity leave, like benefits. That's just such a big one that stuck out to me, the working culture. And then everything else is just gravy, just extra. Being able to explore the UK and Europe easily, the sights, and the no car, which actually would take some getting used to. I don't know if Americans would actually like that. I think a lot of Americans enjoy having a car and the independence and control. We feel like we got to be in control of our transportation here. I think just growing up with cars. So these were really interesting, really fun. I enjoyed this quite a bit. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with your thoughts on why someone might want to move to the UK over anywhere else in the world, like America. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to the UK and UK culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.